Let's make some stew peas with oxtail and salt beef. It was so delicious, so let's get into it together. We go ahead and wash our peas separately, and then we're going to add our peas to a pot with water on the stove. To that pot, we're going to add some garlic and pimento seed. While I'm doing this, I had already started cooking my oxtail and my salt beef an hour and a half beforehand. I seasoned my oxtail and salt beef with oxtail seasoning, and I let that cook an hour and a half before I put the peas on, because here in Canada, the peas boils very quickly. So I put the peas on and I covered it and I let that cook out for a while my meat was still cooking. Once my meat was tender enough, I added it to the pot along with about 2 spoonfuls of the broth that I was cooking the oxtail and salt beef in, and I feel like that made a world of difference. I stirred everything up and I covered my pot and let that cook for a little while. After about 10 minutes, I went ahead and added my coconut milk to the pot, and then I stirred that in, and this I'm going to let that cook down for a good 15 to 20 minutes to make sure that the coconut milk is cooking up with the oxtail, the peas, and the salt beef. I just let that sit for a while. Then I seasoned my pot by adding a scallion, thyme, and a whole pepper. And then I went in with some garlic powder, onion powder, and all-purpose seasoning. And again, because I seasoned my meat with the oxtail seasoning, I cooked it down for a little while, all that seasoning, all that goodness from the broth that I added, I feel like made a world of difference. So I went in, added my garlic powder, onion powder, thyme, scallion, pepper, and I stirred that all up. And then I just tasted my pot and I noticed I needed a little bit of salt. So do all those steps before salting your pot, because God forbid the salt beef is salty, or God forbid the whatever you put in is salty. So I went in, did everything first, tasted my pot, and then salted it. Once I got it to the tasting that I desire, I went ahead and covered my pot, and I just let that cook down and simmer down for just keep checking your pot. I can't tell you exact time, but just keep checking your pot until it starts to thicken up and it looks like this. And honestly, 10 out of 10 would recommend. I'm not a stew peas person, but I definitely ate twice yesterday. So I really hope you enjoy this recipe. Quick and simple, like all my recipes. But please let me know if you do end up trying this recipe. I really hope you enjoy. Thank you.